Hello, hello. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write, where I give questionable writing advice through running metaphors. And thank you, Richard Holiday and RC Scott, for joining me on another live episode. You guys are awesome. You guys are here bright and early. I guess you were here beforehand. Thank you, thank you, Cool Gamer, for joining it, and Barrett Laurie, awesome for all of you to make it to the birthday episode. Just a heads up, but next week / this week, or rather this coming weekend, is the AuthorTube Writing Conference. So next Monday, I won't be having an episode because I will be giving a talk this Sunday at 1:40 p.m. at the AuthorTube Writer Conference. It's brought to us by Shannon S.C. Houston and Margaret Pinard. So it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a bunch of great talks there, and the fun starts this Friday, so get excited. I know I certainly am. And I hope to see you this Sunday, 1:40 p.m., where I will be answering the question of whether we should be writing while on vacation. And if we do want to, how to actually get it done. Spoiler alert, I just got back from one vacation and I didn't write at all. I mean, I did some YouTube stuff, but I didn't really do any writing. And then, I don't know, a month and a half, I'm going on a beach vacation where I do plan to get in some good writing. And thank you, Barrett, for the wonderful birthday wishes. I do appreciate that. Now, with that out of the way, welcome to another live episode. These are always a bit more fluid in how things are run. They're a lot less constrained, and I try to be as entertaining as I can, try and be interacting with you all as best I can, while also trying to convey the information. So pardon me if I make mistakes while speaking and trying to converse with those in the chat. So yeah. Also, it's June, and without giving away the actual date, it is my birthday month. So this is kind of my own take on a birthday episode. Huzzah, 36. That's up there. Anyways, that got me thinking that there are a lot of birthdays in stories. And as the characters can never have nice things, well, a lot goes wrong during those celebrations. And stories are about coming of age, so we often get the birthdays of, say, 16 to 20, and those celebrations, fanfare, whatever, is often cut short. If there's a birthday of note, like I said, it's usually the character 16th through 20th as they, become an adult or whatever, that is in the story. And it shows a definitive point where they change from taking on responsibilities and becoming the heroes that they will evolve into across the story. So this allows them to discard the cloak and safety net of childhood as they get lost in whatever venture they go on. Now, in following through, I skipped over one of my characters' birthdays entirely. There were plot reasons and time travel involved, so they kind of just lost track of the date until they returned to the present, and the character actually makes a comment of how they were likely unconscious during that time because they spent a lot of the time in the past recovering from everything that went on. Anyways, I may write a birthday celebration in a future story for my characters, but I doubt that I could write as well as some of these examples. So here's a list of my top 5 favorite birthdays and the events my characters missed out on. Now let me just see here. So let's see. So yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry, catching up in the chat. Oh, well, thank you, Barrett. Yeah. Work gets the better of most of us, so that is definitely a good reason to not be here. But I do want to thank all of you for being here. And Lauren, there's no cake I'm going to eat on camera, but I have had quite a few cakes already. Let's see. I went out with my family twice and my wife once to celebrate. Just the way things sort of filtered out while we were on vacation. And so I ate a lot more cake than I probably should have. But hey, whatever. It's summer. It's not like it's beach season. And let's see. AF Stewart, thank you, Anita, for joining us. And Nicole, thank you for coming in. Also, RC claims that he ate the cake. Now, without any further ado, this is the first of the fictionalized birthdays, which I find to be one of my favorites. And that is Arthur Dent's 30th birthday in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So, on the day Arthur Dent turns 30, womp womp, the Earth gets destroyed. And it's actually worse than that because the Earth turns out to be this giant computing machine, which was about to solve the meaning of the great question of why are we here? But that's all secondary because this Arthur's birthday and the destruction of Earth begins Arthur's humorous and bizarre interstellar adventure full of infinitely improbable events using the infinite improbability drive. And these occur like a potted plant, and I think it's a potted petunia, and a whale spontaneously appearing in midair before they fall to their ultimate demise. So a lot of those, like I said, infinitely improbable events keep occurring throughout the story, and it's just a humorous, very British series by I want to say Adam Scott, if that's correct. Adam. Hmm. Somebody in the chat, please correct me because I feel really dumb for not knowing who wrote the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Um, but yeah, that is overall Arthur's birthday is largely forgettable, but it's notable because it's the star of his story and the fact that we were so close to discovering the meaning of life. Oh yeah, my wife did give me a bunch of birthday snacks. Um, she actually got me these birthday cake flavored chocolates, which were really good. They were chocolate based and they had just sprinkles in them. Douglas Adams, thank you. I knew there was Adams in there. I do appreciate that, sweetie. Thank you. Thank you. That's my lovely wife right there. She often corrects me and fills in the gaps when my brain just goes on vacation. So yes, Douglas Adams, not Adam Scott or whatever I said before. Douglas Adams is the one who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and that is the number one for my first fictionalized birthday, Arthur Dent, and his 30th. Although in the movie version, he's much older. I don't think that actor is trying to play 30. Either way, it is a birthday, so we got that. Now, number 2, we have Beltane from The Eye of the World, which is the first book in the Wheel of Time series. Now, this is a bit of a stretch because, but it's also my list, so it's kind of my rules. And in a lot of ways, Beltane is kind of a communal birthday, similar to a name day ceremony in other fantasy stories. The event involves women raising a giant pole that the villagers will then dance around, and much of the dancing involves trying to partner up with a potential future life mate for a marriage partner. So that feels kind of like a coming of age slash birthday slash communal celebration. So to me, this felt very important. It felt more important to me than in a typical dance or a series. To me, it felt like a series of birthdays coming together in a way that shows people in the village were of marriageable age and who their preferences might be. Now, of course, as I mentioned, the heroes can never have nice things. So Trollocs and a Murdroll, which is just like a souped up, shadowy creature brought on by the Dark One, they show up and they slaughter a lot of the villagers and send the heroes off on their journey. And this kicks off the Wheel of Time. Had it not been interrupted, there would have been songs and dancing, great food, games, and fireworks. In other words, it would have been an all around decent party. But of course, for the second time, the birthday celebrations end in disaster, and the characters are forced to go off on an adventure. So I am checking in the chat. Oh, Bonnie, thank you for joining in. And I want to say hi to you too. Have you read past the first books for that series? Yes, I have read all the series. I have like the thick book. That's, I don't know. I think it's 2 floors above me, but it's the one which has like the added special like short story of the president going off on some adventure. It's the Young Adventures of Beelzebub. It's not Beelzebub, but the President Beelzebub something. So it's his Young Adventures. So yeah, The book goes off on some very interesting places, and then there's the fourth book, which I don't know, I have mixed feelings about. And then there's the yeah. So, correction, we have two versions in this house. One of them is mine, one of them is yours. So yeah, we have a very Douglas Adams based household here. Or maybe we got rid of one of them. Either way, we both each had our own versions, and now I think we might only have one, or there's one up in the attic. Anyways, yes, thank you, Zaphod Beeblebrox. So number 3 is a little bit of a spoiler, but the series is a little bit older now, so it's already come to its conclusion, I want to say a decade ago, and that is Naruto's birthday from Naruto. Now, without going into too many of the details, the climax of the series ultimately takes place around Naruto's birthday. The heroes are wounded and they're losing a major battle through the night. Then dawn arrives and there is new hope and the realization that it is the main protagonist's birthday. This is a rough day for the heroes and the multi part battle stretches throughout the day. There are ups and downs, many victories, and by the time the sun sets and the dust settles, the story delivers on one of the most emotional and my favorite manga panels. So yeah, Naruto's birthday. I actually have it saved on this computer. The single panel, which is definitely a spoiler. It's very bloody, but it is an excellent metaphor for what the series means and how it handles things like brotherhood. So yeah, there's blood. There's a lot of symbolism in that image, and it is a masterful work of something so obvious and foreshadowed, yet something I never would have seen coming. And that is really an incredible feat. So in a lot of ways, the story ended where it began, in a way, and it felt like both a surprise and something that was inevitable. So if you haven't watched Naruto and then Naruto Shippuden, I suggest you do. But if you're going to do that, I would recommend like there's a lot of filler there, so I would recommend using a guide to see which episodes you should watch because it is incredibly well done. But there are a lot of not so great episodes which you can just completely skip. And this isn't necessarily a good birthday for the heroes, but it was definitely an unforgettable one. That brings us to number 4. So Percy Jackson's birthday in the Battle for the Labyrinth. Now, this is a calm before the storm moment. And again, slight spoilers. This takes place at the end of the book. Although it does take place there, it gives a small moment of happiness. And the characters feel the full weight of everything they've accomplished thus far. And it also gives them a chance to sort of reflect on the impending doom and the great prophecy for what's to come. So this was a slight breather, a little chance to inhale and exhale and relax. And for all the struggles that they survived and for all the problems they know they'll need to face in the future, this one tiny moment of joy and cake gave them reasons to continue the fight. So they survived one ordeal that was the point of that book. And they sort of rekindle their own reasons to keep fighting. They are trying to fight to preserve what happiness they do have and the lives that they currently are living. And birthdays are an excellent example to remember why we keep doing what we're doing. So it's a great chance to bring families together and share all that love and bring friends together and share all our life experiences while celebrating with cake. Yeah. I hmm. So that's from Naruto. There's this really fun video that makes fun of Naruto, and I showed that to my wife, and she is doing a bit here. So yeah, I guess if any of you guys ever do watch Naruto, just let me know because it's a very funny video. Um, there are definitely undertones between two of the main characters, and the fan fiction runs rampant with it. Where yeah, Sasuke and Naruto are a couple. None of it's canon, but it is definitely out there. I think that's what, Rule 83 or whatever, Rule 86. And hey, Jordan, how's it going? Thank you for joining in, and I appreciate the birthday wishes. Boo, Naruto! What? Oh, Naruto's so good. Um, and yes, I agree that there are better mangas, but like that one hit me at the perfect age. I think the first couple episodes came out either towards the end of high school or like at the start of college, so I really liked how things were, and the intro to it is very action packed. So it hit all of my markers for a great series to cling to. And then from there, I just started reading the manga because the anime kind of took a downturn. But again, the manga is fantastic. The anime, you got to just watch certain episodes and skip the rest. Yes, Amy, thank you for joining in. And yes, Percy Jackson did make number 4 of the favorite birthdays. Don't know what that's referring to, but I also chuckle every time because I picture blue chocolate chip cookies. Is that Percy Jackson? I don't remember what you're referring to. Yes, you should definitely go back and read Percy Jackson. It's wonderful. Then there's the whole yeah. Adriana said it better. There's the entire Rick Riordan series. So from Percy Jackson, we go on to Jackson Chase, something Chase, James Chase. I'm trying to blank there. I'm sorry, but it's something Magnus Chase. There we go, Magnus Chase. And there's the whole Roman gods. There's the Norse gods. There's the Egyptian gods, and all of it is wonderfully, incredibly integrated with how the different pantheons interact together. So each one sort of has their own afterlife, but they still feel like they could all be in the same universe, and it's incredible to read. So yeah, why even bother saying it? She said it better. So Rick Riordan also has an own imprint that gives other authors a chance to write within his own universe, within the universe that he created. So there's a lot more chances for other people to tell Pantheon related stories. Yeah, I guess that is Percy Jackson. It's been a few years since I've read it. So fair enough. Fair enough. That is 100% me. You're right. That is entirely my fault. It's been far too long since I read Percy Jackson, so I do. I can certainly add it to my TBR when I get around to it. And lastly, number 5, we have, of course, Fellowship of the Ring, Bilbo Baggins's 111st birthday. Yes, this is my favorite fictionalized birthday, even though 111st is an odd word, but that's how it was described in the text. And as J.R.R. Tolkien worked on creating the old Oxford English Dictionary, I'm going to defer to him on all things wordsmithing without question. There's an old joke where I think his editor claimed that dwarves wasn't a word, and J.R.R. Tolkien just said, by the way, I wrote the Oxford English Dictionary, and you don't know what you're talking about, so it's an actual word. Because J.R.R. Tolkien is brilliant and witty, and as I mentioned before, I'm a massive fan of The Lord of the Rings. So I'm ever impressed in the way that J.R.R. Tolkien flexes his language capabilities. And in Bilbo's 111st birthday, he flexes those skills by thanking, praising, and insulting all of his guests within a single sentence. So I have the quote right here that I'm going to read, where Bilbo reflects on his life while still fighting off the early corruptions of the One Ring. I guess it was kind of the mid corruptions because he's had it for about 50 years at that point. Anyways, let's see here. The quote is, I don't know half of you as well as I should, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. So that is deeply thoughtful and a little bit sad in that Bilbo realizes that there are a lot of people here who he should care about, but in some ways he's kind of grown selfish in his old age. So he's not really the typical hobbit anymore because he went off and went on an adventure, and now the Shire feels kind of too small for him. So he uses this as a single moment and a little bit depressing way to say goodbye to everyone as he puts on the One Ring and disappears. So that celebration is over the top with food and the likes of which have not been seen in the Shire with the fireworks and the fanfare. And he put all of his well earned gold to good use by having a party that no one else will forget, or at least no one who was there will forget. So the fireworks terrify with the way that they brought the dragon from the mountain to life in firework form, which is mesmerizing and terrifying at the same time. And then you have these mile-long tables of food and just so much celebration and goodwill for Bilbo and the incredibly long life that he lived. So I only hope that I can live my own 11st birthday and celebrate with wonderful friends and family. So I'm going to just do one last pass on the chat. Yeah. So again, going back to Percy Jackson, you have Percy Jackson first, then the Magnus Chase, and then the Kane Chronicles, and it kind of all um, flows chronologically from there, and they build off each other. So yeah, Percy Jackson is fantastic. The Greek gods are a great jumping on point, and then it just expands from there to become this massive, massive world. Let's see here. Oh yeah, yeah. I know. I am very predictable. Bilbo's birthday is one of the best fictionalized birthdays in the written word, at least in my opinion. And I'm definitely going to stick with that. Let's see. Apparently, the South Park creators went in after like 9 seasons and went into how his name is actually Tolkien because his dads loved JR. Oh, wow. Fair enough. All right. Well, with out of the way, those are my 5 favorite fictionalized birthdays in stories. And I'm Ben Pick. Thank you for joining me in Running to Write. Please celebrate my birthday by remembering to hit those like and subscribe buttons in case you haven't. And I also have a monthly newsletter if you'd like to sign up for that, where I do updates on running and writing and all that fun stuff. The link should hopefully be in the description below. I may also in the next month, so July 3rd, I will also have a picture or two from the celebrations of my birthday. And it was actually a joint celebration with my 92-year-old grandmother. So it was really, really wonderful to travel to Canada and experience that because I don't think I've been in person for a birthday in easily a couple of decades. So, like I said, spoiler alert, I care more about the other birthday we're celebrating than my own. And you can feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that basic stuff. But see you next time. Until then, remember, as the game Portal told us frequently, the cake is a lie. So thank you everyone for joining in, and I will see you on Sunday, not next Monday, 1:40 p.m., where I'll be talking all about whether we should write while on vacation. There we go. So take care, everyone.